So what do we got? We got the random projectiles, obstacles attacking us. I can move, I can collide, and I think that I can shoot. Okay, but I think that I'm supposed to make some kind of a limit to the number of projectiles. And also, let's maybe make some fancy projectile stuff. Let's visit the projectile. And I think that I want to make it rotate because I think that it will make it look better. So there is an rotation. Will that work? Okay. So we've got our sprite to be rotated by 180, but we'll leave it as a default, and now we'll be rotating our entire body so that our collisions and all of other stuff will be rotating with us. Also, let's increase the size of this fella, our visible on screen notifier. Rest is fine. So what's the name of this property? Rotation degrees. Open documentation. Rotation degrees. So the rotation is in radians, while rotation degrees is in degrees. But if we want to use degrees, then there is a little bit more of overhead on engine because it converts. I think that it works like this. So we'll keep with the radians and just set rotation value. So we'll do some maybe also let's close all other tabs. Close other tabs. It was set rotation. So here in our physics process, after every move, we'll be setting our rotation to the value of our current rotation plus, let's say, wait, these are radians, so how much is right? It should be like 2p per one rotation, so that's like around 6, maybe get rotation plus 1. Let's see how it looks like. Okay, we play. Oh, that's definitely too fast. Plus 0.1 maybe. Let's try again. Okay, this seems fine. If you want, you can do here some fancy stuff like setting the rotation direction, so left or right based on the velocity of the player. That could be also nice. I won't be doing it at least for now. What else? Maybe work on the collisions or maybe cooldown for shooting. Let's go to my player because now we can open the game and just spam the screen with our projectiles. We probably don't want that. We want to limit our player on how often can he shoot. So let's create a variable here and let's call it I don't know, attack speed, and make it equal to 1 so the player can attack once a second. To make this cooldown on our attack speed, we will use the timer. I think that's the only way that I can think about at the moment to do this, and it is probably right. We'll create a flag which we'll call if just attack. We'll make it equal to false. Now emit our player attack signal only if this one is not true. At the moment it will be every time, but we'll do so that after emitting this signal we'll make it equal to true. So after attacking, the player will be marked as have just attacked. And now we need to set a timer that will revert it back to being false, so that will enable player to attack after a certain amount of time. We'll go to the main because we have a signal definition here. We'll grab this variable definition. We'll paste it in here, but we'll rename it to something more appropriate. I will call this one an attack timer. Seems good enough. Once again, now we need to set our timer. Let's copy this entire function maybe. Let's paste it in our player, but let's rename it to the ready function. Simply do it like that. And now we'll copy our name and paste it everywhere. And by everywhere, I mean in this 4 places. Now let's check generate interval to our player attack speed. We also don't need most of this stuff. In here we just simply need to revert our if just attack. So we'll grab it from there, set it as false. And why is it in green? That's a real question. Did I mess up a syntax maybe? Okay, something weird is happening. Okay, we'll just check it in a second. Add child attack timer and start. But we don't want to start our timer in our ready function. We only want to start it after we assign if just attack to true. So we'll be starting our timer every time in here. Does it make sense? Okay, let's maybe try running. I press, and you may not be able to hear it, but I will. Okay, now you should have been able to hear it that I was mashing my mouse like a madman, but it was limiting my my ability to give input. Let's now check if it being green makes something bad. Okay, it seems that it's just an editor bug. So I will leave it, I guess. It's not breaking anything or whatever. Okay, so the next thing to do, collisions. Okay, collisions between the projectiles and the obstacle. Let's go into our editor and something weird is happening in here. I cannot remove it. Okay, let me reset Godot 1 second. I've reset my editor. So let's go to our projectile scene. Let's look for collisions. Now let's set our projectile as a layer. Let's set it on layer 3. On layer 2 we have obstacles, on layer 1 we have player. And we want to make the projectile collide with the mask 2, so the obstacles. And also let's go to our obstacle and make it collide with both the player and the projectile. Let's also rename layer 3 to, we'll call it this one, player attacks. Now I have to check how to identify what kind of body collides, because I don't really remember how to do it. We'll set up the function for handling the collision. We'll assign the return value of this function to the variable, and now we can try doing something like this. Let's see what will happen. I collided with projectile. Seems to be printing the body type. Okay, now before I forget, there's one more problem. If we go to our main scene, run our project and go here to remote, you will see that we're getting kind of a mess with our tree. I think that I want to group the object types that I'm spawning. So let's create our scene some kind of a helper nodes, because I don't think there are any kind of the folders in here. Let's just use a normal node then. Create 2 of these maybe. One will be, where is this rename? One will be called attacks. The other one will be called obstacles. And now instead of adding obstacles as a child of the main, we'll be adding them as a child of the obstacle and attacks. Now I'm thinking whether or not I should use an export or just call it by path, but I think that I will keep with the exports. So let's create two additional exports, or maybe create just one. It will be easier then. We'll call this one folder attacks. Make it a type of a node. And now copy this one and name it folder obstacles or whatever you want. It doesn't matter. I think that starting this with the name folder will be very decent for making it tidy. Now save, go into the inspector of the main, drag and drop, keep adding player attacks under the folder attack, under the one folder, and obstacles under the second folder. You can also consider making it for timers and other stuff, or maybe making something like a temporary. Make one node temporary and make one node call it temporary, and then add add a lot of other nodes under that one, and then you can even attach a script to that one, and then you only export one node in the main, and then just handle add child inside this node to add to many other folders. I don't know. That's also, I think, the time worthy idea. But let's get back to the business. We've been handling collisions. Projectiles also uses move and collide. So I can simply take it from the obstacle, paste it into the projectile. Also I should probably make a function for collision, make it collide, something like collide, or maybe for moving. If I will get too many of these lines about collision in physics process. And now to make it work so remove our projectile after it will hit an obstacle. Let's check, will it work? Bonk, and it disappeared. Collided, disappeared, and printed. Collide with character body 2D. Something weird is happening. I don't know why, to be honest. We're getting this weird output. I kinda don't understand why does the obstacle moves a little bit sometimes when hitting a projectile. Look, you've seen it? It moved, and I don't understand why. Let's maybe set our player attack speed to half a second instead of a second. Go to our obstacle, create a variable called durability. You can also call it health if you want.